I hit start a little sooner than I intended. That's okay. We'll be fine. Oh, let me put it up here. Hey guys, it's me. I know. Oh, I was busy editing, and then my husband said, "Isn't it 7 o'clock?" And I'm like, "Oh crap!" So, life in the world of DJ. So anyway, I'm very excited because we're starting the new year. We had our first episode of the year and of season 4, and so yay! That's so exciting, and it's just me. And I love those episodes because I just kind of get to do the stuff I love to do and talk about the things I want to talk about. And today I talked about, well, there were two things kind of I talked about, and I brought them both together. So, this time of year, what is everyone talking about? You know it. I know, you know it. It's resolutions. And we talked about what is the difference between a successful resolution and one that isn't. And we talked about, do you even bother? Why even bother? Because sometimes, you feel like you're just setting yourself up for failure if, it doesn't happen. But if you make a resolution that is truly meaningful for you, that you have a plan, you have a support system, um, and you talk to yourself about, well, why am I even bothering with this solution? Why is this an important one for me? And then you go from there. We have a whole process there that you can go through. But then I connected it to the most common thing that I have when I'm working with parents. My goodness. But when I'm working with parents or even teachers, they it's always on someone's list. Very rarely is it not on a list. And that is yelling. Why am I always finding myself yelling at my kids? Or I'll hear, my kids won't listen to me if I'm not yelling. They just don't even listen. Okay, and so we can go through that and the why that happens. And then we can go through steps of how to make that change. And I've been able to do that and figure it out. And we've looked at the science of it and how all of that works. But the main thing is, like with any resolution, honestly, if you're not willing to make a few changes in you, me as a person, and whether it's yelling or something else, if you're not ready to make a few changes, it's not going to happen. And so if you're not willing to really look at what's going on and then make some adjustments, then it's not going to happen. And some resolutions with things like yelling, it's not going to happen overnight. You can't just say, I'm not going to yell at my kids anymore and think that that's going to end it. It's not. It's because it's something that is, it's a habit. It's something that you've developed over a whole lifetime. And chances are, if you're a yeller, you grew up in a yelling household, right? And and we talk a little bit about how when you look back on your childhood memories and those little warm, fuzzy, like those great memories, how many of them involve somebody screaming at you? Mm. For me, that would be zero. The wonderful, exciting memories that make me feel good to look back on don't involve anybody yelling at me. Amazingly so. And so chances are pretty good if you didn't feel that way, your kids probably aren't enjoying it either. That's not the kind of stuff that's going to build up your relationship with your kiddos. And so there are other ways to get your point across without yelling. Now, does it mean you should never yell at your kid? No. There are times when it is appropriate to yell at your kids, and most of those times involve danger. They're running into the street. Stop! Right? And you want them to really listen to you. If you're yelling at them all the time, it's just like, man, she's yelling. She always yells. It doesn't mean anything to them. Or he always yells. Doesn't mean anything to them. But if it's very rare that you yell, then it's like, whoa, they yelled, right? And it gets their attention because it's a very unusual thing. So you might want to consider that. It's actually a safety thing, right? If you want them to really pay attention to you because they're in danger, then you might want to consider not yelling very much, right? Make it an unusual thing. And if you want them to really pay attention to you, you can get quieter. Oh, they'll never listen to me then. Well, not at first. They won't. Nope, they won't. But you're going to have to work on it and realize that it's going to take time. There are times when, and I found this to be the case, sometimes I had no idea I'd started yelling. Big personality, right? And so sometimes I would be talking to even like adult friends. There are a few topics that I am very passionate about. And even when I'm talking with people I agree with, I get so excited and I don't know, enthusiastic that my volume tends to go up. And I'll realize all of a sudden it's like, whoa, my voice is really loud. When did I start yelling? But that's an interesting take to use with your kids. So even if they're like 4 years old or even 3 years old, and definitely if they're older than that, and you recognize that you're yelling, ah, and you say, oh my gosh, I'm yelling. Hold on, kiddos. Wait, I need to stop this yelling thing first. Nobody's learning anything if you're yelling, right? They're just trying to get you to shut up. And so maybe they're going to yell back at you. Maybe they're going to cower down, whatever. But they're not learning anything except maybe that mom or dad is dangerous. Is this a precursor to me getting hit? Am I safe? And so, oh, they know they're safe. I would never hit them. Do they? Do they really know they're safe? It was interesting. I had my grandkids here over for that week between Christmas and New Year. It was so much fun. But um, it was very interesting to me that I was talking with my grandson who's 8 now, and I can't even remember how it came up, but he mentioned, we were talking about how kind his parents are. They are very kind and gentle and sweet. And he mentioned to me that he doesn't think he's ever heard his parents yell. And he listens to them. He knows when they're serious. And you can hear a difference in their tone, but it's never yelling. It's never demeaning. And I remember saying, wow, you know, Sylvan, you are very lucky. There aren't very many kids in the world that can say that at your age, that they've never heard their parents yell. You know, that's a big deal. So anyway, it's a fun episode. I hope you listen. It's lots of fun. Now, there are some changes coming to the podcast. There's some changes coming to Little Hearts Academy, and they're going to be slowly rolling out over the year. The first change, though, that I really want to bring to your attention is kind of our focus. So we are going to be really focusing this year on how we can use values and morals in developing kids who are kind and independent and successful. And how are we going to instill that in them? And the truth is, the earlier you can start using those techniques, the younger that they are, the easier time that you're going to have. And the way that you instill those, you know, we've read stories, or maybe even experienced the parent who is using demeaning language, hellfire and brimstone kind of stuff, to instill those values and morals, and it doesn't work out really well. Gotta tell you, it's just not a successful rate. But there are better ways to teach our children um, about morality and about values and about faith and all those things that are going to be more successful. And so we're going to focus on that this year a lot, and how to bring that in. So if you have ideas or suggestions, you can always post it on the Facebook page. You can always contact me on my email, which is djstutz at littleheartsacademyusa.com. There's the webpage, Little Hearts Academy USA, and then the podcast has its own webpage as well, which is imperfectheroespodcast.com. So there's all kinds of ways to get a hold of me if you have ideas. Another thing that we're going to be changing and bringing in a little more often, and it's a whole new thing actually, it's going to be, I think, kind of fun, is I would love to invite some of my listeners and followers to come on the show and just talk about everyday life with kids. If there's a problem or a concern that you want to hash out on the air, or just tell silly stories about things that your kids are doing, um, that's fine. And so I think it would be really fun for us to hear, just, you are the experts in so many ways. And so I have a lot of these great experts. In fact, my husband was saying over the holiday, I had over 100 emails that I need, and that's with me even checking in and rooting out all of the, come buy this or let me sell you that emails. But after I rooted all of that out, there was still over 100. And he's like, how are you having that many? And it's like, I've got people who want to come on the show, and I've already got guests booked through April, like April's full. And so it's just interesting. And then, of course, people who want to work with me and ask questions and, book a time to talk with me. So it's just really interesting how busy and full it is, but of experts who want to get on the show. And so I would love to have parents who want to come and talk about things, and let's problem solve. Let's talk about it and see what's going on and come up with some ideas on how things go, or um, you know, anyway, have a mommy time or strictly daddy time. I would love to have a daddy time, actually. Dads are so important in the lives of our kids. So anyway, there's some changes coming, and so I hope you'll stay in tune and keep an eye out. You can always get on our email list. It's on the webpage with Little Hearts Academy USA.com, and you can always get on that and see what's coming up. So anyway, we'll be back next week, and we're talking about curiosity next week, and what a key thing. That's a great value to have, actually, in our children. So until next week, let's find joy in parenting. See you later, guys. Listen to the podcast. It's going to be fun. Bye.